today's video, we are going to be talking about Goku Black. Now, before we get into that, I just want to go ahead and say that my last video about, Light kind of didn't do good at all. I mean, as you see, it got 38 views. And the funny thing is that's like the most effort I've ever put into a video. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and watch it because no one did. So, yeah, just go ahead and watch it and subscribe, and let's get to the video. Alright, the first thing we're going to need to talk about is how I feel about this character. And my true opinion, I love this character, alright? I know, I'm going to go into the pros and the cons, so don't start shaking your fist or, doing all kinds of other crazy stuff. But, I agree this is a very flawed character, but at the same point has a lot of good points, so we're going to go over that, okay? So don't get your panties in a bunch is all I'm trying to say. I'm going to go ahead and get the bad stuff out of the way. Evil Goku is not a new thing. We have seen it multiple times. We have seen it with Turles, which is pretty much the original Evil Goku. And you could even also argue that Bardock, Goku's dad, could also be pretty much an Evil Goku. I mean, it's not exactly that, but you get the concept. And technically, Turles isn't canon, which is only making really Bardock, and Bardock isn't technically an Evil Goku. So really, if you're really being honest, Goku Black is technically the only canon, straight up Evil Goku. But when it comes to Bardock, I'm just saying just in general, it's a Goku that's not good. So, I mean, they do this trope all the time, but in my opinion, it's not that bad considering that Goku Black is the only canon Evil Goku. Just on how, no one's complaining about the fact that there's two Brolys because the other one isn't canon. Everyone's okay with Dragon Ball Super Broly because he's canon and Z isn't. Alright, before I get too carried away, the next thing I want to be talking about is something that I don't actually... I can sort of understand from a non-biased standpoint, but to an extent, I don't understand why people have this problem. People don't like the fact that, his transformation is just pink hair. But if you actually take a step back and think about it, if you're not liking Dragon Ball or some type of idea from it, if it's just because it's another hair color change, then you're watching the wrong show, because that's never going to stop happening. There's always going to be another color or just another simple thing they're going to make into a form. That's just, Dragon Ball's art style and just how Akira Toriyama does things and how he designs his characters. But actually, in my opinion, the way they talked about it, it's pretty much Super Saiyan Blue, but they already have God Ki, so it's a little bit, it's way more powerful. So, obviously, it would be the same thing, but just slightly different, because that's how they explain it. That's what that form pretty much is. And the form actually is pretty unique. It's purple. I mean, it's like a dark pink with a purple inside, and then his eyes are gray and his hair's pink. That's more creative than most forms in Dragon Ball. The only form in Dragon Ball that you can say that is truly different is Super Saiyan 4. All the other ones are just either longer hair or a different color. Super Saiyan 4 is the only unique different transformation. And that's just, period. There's no argument to that. And don't try to bring up some other alien race. I'm talking about Saiyans. Those are the only, noteworthy things I can think about that are negatives or people say are negatives. And another thing I want to say before anyone gets this confused, I don't think that Goku Black is the perfect character. I don't think that he is the best villain in Dragon Ball Super. Well, technically, he's really the only villain, really, in Dragon Ball Super. But I'm saying, to me, he's not my favorite antagonist. I have had I think that there are way more that are better. But do I enjoy this character? Yes. Do I think he's very entertaining to watch? Yes. If you've enjoyed this video so far, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get back to the video. And now, for the fun part, let's go over all the positive things that I like about Goku Black. Now, let's start with something that is very easy to talk about and go over. It's just, first, let's go off of looks. When you look at Goku Black, you know 100% this man is pure evil. There ain't nothing in this man's heart but destruction and just all kinds of bad stuff. If my phone has one more notification, I'm leaving that in. I've already done this 10 times. You just know, this man is not good. There is no talk no jutsu that's going to work on this man. And if you can't beat him, you might as well just run, alright? Because he will kill you, alright? This isn't no, rated PG. Nah. Bro about made Dragon Ball Super rated R. Like, if they would have done it how the manga showed it, I guarantee it would have been rated R. I haven't read the manga, but from what I've heard, that it was a lot more gruesome in the Goku Black arc in the manga. But another reason besides, just obviously looks, is just his character as a whole. He's actually Zamasu that, took Goku's body, but it's the fact that him and himself are going against the world, and it's just his personality, the way he acts, and, his power. He everything as a whole that combines to make Goku Black, to me, is the perfect Dragon Ball villain. Now, if this was in, other animes that were more, story heavy, okay, fine, it's not a good villain. But for Dragon Ball, this is a pretty good villain, because Dragon Ball is not about complex story and complex characters. It's about a bunch of people fighting and winning at the end of the day. That's what Dragon Ball's core is about. It's about teaching you to, stand up for your friends and other people or whatever, and at the same point, never giving up. Those simple things, along with the fact of, entertainment through fighting. But, Dragon Ball done really well to me with Goku Black, because to me, he felt the most like an older Dragon Ball villain out of everyone in Dragon Ball Super. I don't know why, but to me, he gave off more Dragon Ball Z vibes than the rest. And I know it's Dragon Ball Super, but at the end of the day, Dragon Ball Z is always going to be goated. So, Goku Black just reminds me of a Dragon Ball Z villain, so to me, it's just more entertaining for me to watch. I think a lot differently than most people, so I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. To me, Dragon Ball Super villains aren't villains, and this is the only one that is. It's it brings a vibe of oh my gosh, they're gonna lose, oh no, that type of thing. Whereas the other villains is just in a tournament or something like that. It's not really a villain. Whereas this is an actual villain that wants to kill and hurt people. But the best thing, in my opinion, about the Goku Black arc is the fact that it's in Trunks' universe and he's back in there. I mean, I'm very sad that he's weak and scrawny, but the fact that, they got Trunks back in the story, I'm kind of glad for that. And also the fact of how, he did have his moment. I mean, he didn't, rival anyone's power, but, he had his moment. He done his final stand. He done his thing. And, I'm glad for that, because I am all for the smaller Dragon Ball characters getting their moment to shine. Because I just am. I don't know why. It's just satisfying to me. Like when Piccolo got his transformation in the new movie, loved that. So the same thing would occur when, Trunks had his moment. I like that a lot. And that was, to me, one of the best things that came out of, if it was never for Goku Black, we would have never got to see that. But, I also like the, that since he killed his mom, it gave him more initiative. And, it kind of made, an awkward situation when he went to the future. And, or past. Either way, before I get too confused, that's just something that I liked. And one thing that I know for sure that I won't forget, Sean Schimmel doing his thing. His voice acting for Goku Black was amazing. I don't care what anyone says, it was amazing. And to me, he is Goku. So him playing Goku Black was perfect. I don't believe, people say that the Japanese voices is always better, but in my opinion, Sean Schimmel, the better voice actor. Sorry, my opinion, you can get mad, I don't care, you're wrong, but Sean Schimmel done his thing for Goku Black as well, and actually made the character feel like it was a different one. When I heard the Japanese, to me it just sounds like the same character. It's not really that different to me, in my opinion. But, Sean Schimmel really done a good job at making this guy his own character. And he said that he's had the most fun voicing him, too, which is, makes sense, because, Goku's just happy-go-lucky, with not really much different personality. But, the thing that I also really like is that he makes Pink cool, because for me, I've never really cared for Pink. I mean, I don't really have, a specific reason, but I just never really have. But, if any villain or if any, fictional character can make Pink look cool, it's this one right here. And also, just not to mention just how menacing and crazy he is. You can just tell that there's something just not right with him. Even before he, done the things he'd done, when it was showing him when he was younger, Zamasu, there was still stuff wrong with him. You could just tell that it was just something missing. There was a piece that just wasn't clicking in his head. And I kind of just like that, because it just showed that, he wasn't just someone that wanted to destroy for no reason. There was just something wrong with him. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. And please go watch my last video about Light Yagami because I put a lot of effort into that and it only got like, what, 30 some views? And I put a lot of effort into that video. I mean, you might not be able to tell, but I did. So, yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. Go watch my old content, you know, and keep on supporting me. And if you stayed this long, you deserve a cookie. Thank you. Yeah.